Nikhil, I have to just hit the nail on the head right now and ask you this. All these conversations about Gautam Gambhir being India's worst test coach in 25 years, some are saying he's even worse than Greg Chappell. Do you agree?
It's tough to argue with the stats that we have in front of us, Sonal. Just to put it into context, in the history of Indian cricket, you have only been whitewashed 3 times in, as I said, the entire history of Indian cricket. Only 3 times at home this has happened. Unfortunately for the Indian team, 2 of those occasions have happened in the last 12 months while Gautam has been the coach. Of course, you've had the captain change. You had Rohit Sharma in the previous whitewash, and in this particular whitewash, you've had a combination of Rishabh Pant and Shubman Gill. But unfortunately, the coach is the same in those 2 occasions that you've had. The last time India were whitewashed at home, again, I'm putting it into context, there was nothing called social media. You have a prime minister now into his 3rd term. He wasn't even the chief minister of Gujarat at the time when India was last time whitewashed on home turf. In these times, my mind goes back to someone like Steve Waugh. People will remember him as one of the greatest captains ever to have played the sport. I remember majority of my career as a cricket reporter, Steve Waugh used to keep harping about one fact, that his ultimate dream was to conquer the final frontier. You know what the final frontier was? To win a test series in India, because that was considered impossible. Here's a captain of Australia that had won everywhere on the planet, who had won World Cups as well, yet his only desire was to win that one single series in India. Unfortunately for him, he retired without having fulfilled his dream. This I'm telling our viewers so that they know how tough it was to win a series at home. And now you've lost 2 back-to-back series. You've of course had a win in the middle versus West Indies, but 2 back-to-back series where you've been whitewashed completely. Not a single draw on those occasions. So I think if this isn't the lowest point in Indian cricket, then I don't know what is. And probably the guardians of the game, the custodians of the game, that is the BCCI, will have to put their heads together and come up with a solution if they want to stem the flow of such disappointing performances that we've seen in the recent past.
Right. Nikhil there, not mincing his words at all. I'm also joined by Rajdeep Sardesai now. Great passion for cricket. He's smiling, but I'm sure it's not because of India's performance at this time. But I have to ask you, sir, exactly what I asked Nikhil. Is this the worst performing Indian test coach that we have seen? Even worse than Greg Chappell?
You know, I'm going to be very cautious about blaming an individual here. I think there is something seriously wrong with Indian test cricket. I think that's where it starts. You can sack Gautam Gambhir. It's not going to change the fortunes of this team overnight. The fact is, Sonal, Indian cricket is now only about white ball and about IPL. It's about bringing in the crowds for these short, limited overs formats. 5-day cricket is being lost because our skills at 5-day cricket are being lost because of this obsession with who will be sold for how many crores at IPL auctions. So Gautam Gambhir is not, when your patient is on ventilator, can you really make him recover by simply changing the doctor? I don't think so. This goes beyond Gautam Gambhir. This goes to the heart of what is structurally wrong with the way Indian cricket is organized.
Nikhil is not convinced by what you're saying, sir. Nikhil is not convinced.
Is Nikhil telling me today that he wants Gautam Gambhir sacked and the team's fortunes will be revived? I don't agree. Yes, Gautam Gambhir needs to be made more accountable, as do several others as well. What is the role of the selectors? What is the role of the BCCI? What made you go and play some foolish ODI 3 matches in Australia and then bring the same players back to play on a turning wicket at Kolkata just a few days later? Who organizes these tours and this calendar? These are the things that we should be looking at. What importance do you give Ranji Trophy? Why do you have teams against, on perfect batting wickets where they score 600 runs but cannot even score 200 in a proper match against a test side? The entire structure of Indian cricket is geared, I repeat, towards only the IPL now. And you're even selecting teams based on their IPL.
But sir, that's the criticism against Gautam Gambhir. He's been criticized for picking up very IPL-style cricketers even for test cricket. That's his vision that's been questioned. But I'll let Nikhil come in with a question now. Nikhil.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Rajdeep, I don't think it's fair to look at the IPL. IPL's in the 18th season. You've played 2 WTC finals. You've been the #1 test team during that same phase. The biggest difference that we've seen in the last 12 months, I go back to the time that Rohit Sharma was captain. I go back to the time where Virat Kohli was captain. Your best bowlers played for the team. Your best spinner played for the team. That is a decision that is not, at a macro level, that is wrong with Indian cricket. Indian cricket was still producing good enough players to win in test match cricket. It has only happened in the last 12 months where you've now begun to take players from the IPL into the test team. That's not to say that players are not playing Ranji Trophy cricket. I can name 4 players right now that have been playing Ranji Trophy cricket and have been getting runs non-stop for years. But the fact of the matter is that they are not in your team. Mohammad Shami is playing Ranji Trophy. He's fit. He's saying he's a match winner. He's a proven match winner. He doesn't get into the team. There are multiple spinners. You had a Ravichandran Ashwin, who is your #1 off spinner. He retired shortly. Do you know why? Because there was a point under this regime in Australia where you were playing Washington Sundar ahead of Ravichandran Ashwin. Why? Because you play a bowler who can get you some sort of runs. Do you know Washington Sundar plays the IPL? He's not even a bowler in his IPL franchise. He plays as a pure batter. The one who's won South Africa test match is Simon Harmer. He's playing test cricket. Why? Not because he can get runs. He's the best off spinner in South Africa. Are you playing your best off spinner in your 11? That is the question that the management needs to answer. There's nothing wrong with IPL. There's nothing wrong with having specialists who play T20 cricket. You bought in a Nitish Kumar Reddy who has an average of 20 in first class cricket, in red ball cricket. You have paratrooped him and he plays test match cricket. Somebody like a Sarfraz with a 67 average sits out. Sheikh Rashid is another player who's getting runs, sits out. You don't look at him. Baba Aprijit is another player who gets runs. You don't pick him. Why? Because you need players from white ball. I am telling you, I can name 4 players that have come into this Indian team in the last few months basis IPL performance. So IPL is not the problem. The problem is the people who are picking these players to come and play. The structure of Indian cricket is healthy. It will continue to produce match-winning players in test match cricket. You can be the best test team on the planet. You were a short while ago. The problem is you changed your mantra. Your best test teams in the world. New Zealand have won WTC. Do they play bits and pieces cricketer? No. After that, Australia won the WTC. Nathan Lyon is the best off spinner. He plays for Australia. If Nathan Lyon was an Indian, he wouldn't play because he cannot contribute with the bat. Today, South Africa are the best team in the world. Temba Bavuma is a test specialist. He plays. He does not play IPL. He doesn't play anything. That's why they have him as captain.
Nikhil's
but we will make
clearly
our captains
feeling very, very passionate about it. I'll quickly let Rajdeep respond to that.
No, Nikhil, we are not. No, we are not disagreeing with each other. All I am saying, the way you and I are on the same page, I am also saying, if you are going to make IPL the criteria for selecting a test team, and please understand the selector, Gautam Gambhir is not the sole selector. There are selectors or not in this team. There is AajTak team for selecting the team. What is the reason why they are being, why has the criteria changed? That you are choosing people like I don't want to name individuals because the entire team flopped, but the fact is you are choosing people on their IPL form and you are not creating the basis for a test team. Let's also be clear. In the last few years, you've lost 5 legendary cricketers who would have walked into most Indian teams in any era. Ajinkya Rahane, Chiteshwar Pujara,
That's
Virat
also
Kohli,
been
Rohit
said.
Sharma,
That's
and
also
R.
been
Ashwin.
said in murmurs that it's because of Gautam Gambhir. Am I correct, Nikhil?
That's correct. And also to go back in the selection, he talks
Sonal,
about Ajit Agarkar, who was the selector from 2023. Rajdeep, you've played a WTC final from there. The same chairman of selector has been there for 2 years. Why is it in the last 12 months have you changed a big shift?
Are you telling me that Gautam Gambhir is the one selecting the Indian team?
Is that what
you're saying?
I think
are you telling me that all these players left? No, 1 minute. Are you telling me that all these greats of the game left because of Gautam Gambhir? Say it. If you have information that they left because of Gautam Gambhir, then certainly Gautam Gambhir needs to be held accountable. I agree with you. But the fact is, let the BCCI, you see the problem is BCCI is non-transparent. BCCI does not tell me why players are selected, how is the, who is deciding who should play which match, how is the wicket to be prepared, who is giving instructions to the curator as they gave in Kolkata. If all of this is being done by Gautam Gambhir, then the blame lies at Gautam Gambhir's door. I agree with you. However, If this is not just an individual but a system at fault, then I'm sorry, sacking Gautam Gambhir is not going to solve Indian cricket's problem. There are wider problems in the way Indian cricket now treats test matches. I am convinced about that. You're saying that a couple of years ago, this same team was winning, or many of these players were winning. I take your point. Just a couple of months ago, you put a front page cover story of India Today calling it Gen Next because we had drawn a series with England. Why were you over exuberant then? The reality on the ground is we should be clear. There is something seriously wrong in the way we have now divided
But to be
Test
fair,
cricket and IPL.
but
All the
but to be
attention,
fair,
all the money, all the
it's not
focus is
just
on
what
the
Nikhil is
IPL.
saying, sir. This is not just that. Even former cricketers, and I'd like our producers to pop up the tweets of Venkatesh Prasad as well. He's gone on record. He's tweeted this pretty categorically, saying that the all-round obsession is absolute brain fade, especially when you don't bowl them.
Agreed.
Really disappointed to see how India is going about its test cricket. Rank poor tactics, poor skills, poor body language, and an unprecedented two-series whitewash. He goes on to state a lot of reasons. All of they've, in some way linked to bad coaching.
Sonal, please tell me. 3 months ago, I'm asking, we are in November. In August, cover story of India Today, hailing India's generation next for a 2-2 drawn series with England. Many of the same players. Nikhil Nas also among others, praising this team at the time. What happened then? Suddenly, everything is wrong with Indian cricket. I am saying, whether you like it or not, sacking individuals is not going to dramatically change the fortunes unless you are going to change the way Indian cricket is structured. This has been a catastrophe in the making for a while now. This is my belief. The fact that these senior cricketers unfortunately also left, and if they've left before because of the coach, we have the right to know that as fans and pundits. If
No,
that
Nikhil,
is the reason,
you want to respond? Yeah. Is
Just
it
a
because
just-
Virat Kohli? Is it because Gautam Gambhir has his own baggage of sorts?
No.
He comes with this image issue.
No, I'm not going to speculate there that did they leave because there was Gautam Gambhir. I know that with the statements that have come out from both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, that they decided to leave Test cricket, and nobody can really force you to retire from Test cricket. But I can say with a great degree of certainty that yet they were nudged. And I'll agree there that they were months on from there. There was a time where the performances weren't coming from both a Rohit Sharma or a Virat Kohli. And so if the selectors had a conversation, if the coach had a conversation with them, that's absolutely fine. I go back to that story that Rajdeep mentions. I wrote that cover story for the magazine. And why I wrote that story is because this team, because 3 of your stalwarts had left. This team, nobody had given them a chance to go on and play in England, and they did well. But you have to see, you have to see it in context, Rajdeep. You played an English team that is absolutely getting hammered by Australia. Are we to be happy competing with an English team which in itself has never played a WTC final? Or are you the #1 team in the world as you claim it to be? I would like this Indian team to be there because this Indian team was certainly there. Of course, I'll go back to Rajdeep. He reminds me of what things that were being pointed out there. Rajdeep was the biggest critic at that time of saying that why is it Kuldeep Yadav not playing? So it's not that what India was doing in England, everything that they were doing was right. Boss. But they escaped with a 2-2 draw. The fact of the matter is the cookie had to crumble at some point, Rajdeep. The signs were there from Australia onwards. Were you playing bits and pieces cricketer? You got hammered 3-1. India had won 2 series in Australia.
The difference is I have been a consistent critic. I am not changing when we draw, or as you rightly said, escaped with a draw in England and call them that India's generation next has arrived. I never said India's generation next has arrived at any stage. In fact, I faulted. I believe he would have won in England if he had played Kuldeep Yadav. I do believe that there are selection flaws. I take all that, but please understand, a year ago, with Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli in the team, with Ashwin in the team, you lost 3-0 to New Zealand in India. There is something seriously wrong when your players don't practice on turning wickets. They don't play on the kind of wickets that you're giving them in test matches. I maintain there is now an obsession. In 2 weeks' time, there is an IPL auction. This will be forgotten. And everybody will be talking only about which player has got the maximum money in the auction. That's not how you build a test team. Test teams have to be built by realizing that red ball cricket is very different to white ball cricket. We are the best white ball team in the world. We are not the best red ball team in the world. And for that, you need to invest in the way your structure is prepared. Have an elite structure of only 10 teams who play 4-day cricket. Make them play 3 or 4 times with each other. See who performs best. Have a system of promotion, demotion. Change the way the Ranji Trophy is played. Make sure that many of these players play in those tournaments. Prepare wickets of the kind that will be played in Test cricket. Are you willing to do any of that? That
How is that
requires
going to help,
imagination
Rajdeep?
and vision.
How is that going
There
to
is
help?
nobody
You
in
can
this
have,
board who
you
has
can
any
have
vision
10 teams,
apart
you
from
can have
wanting money.
structures.
It's
You're
all
still
about
going to pick
commerce.
players based on IPL. How is that going to help? You can have tier system, 10 teams play. The ones who get the runs there, the ones who pick wickets there, won't get a chance to play in the test
should
team.
get.
Your test
No,
team
they
will
should
come
get.
from IPL. My point is, you said, what is it the management could have done? They don't take seriously. You spoke about that Australia series that I'm talking about. What stopped an Indian team? If I'm part of that Indian team management, why do I need my players to be playing that bilateral series?
Agreed.
I, as a coach,
Agreed.
would have had, or as a management would have the full authority to say, I don't need X, Y, Z. They're part of my test team. Please send them back and let them prepare for the red ball thing. No,
I agree
but
with
we
you.
took that seriously. We in fact celebrated. We celebrated the T20 series win, and then we also said, why are we celebrating that one ODI that we won? That means you are taking that seriously, far more
No, I'll tell
seriously
you
than
why.
this series.
I'll tell you why,
Australia
Nikhil.
was playing that series. They let their
Nikhil,
players
And
go
since
play.
I'll
now
tell
we
you
have
why.
Rajdeep and Nikhil agree on something, I think it's good time to take a break. I think
Oh
the
my God,
anger
okay.
and the emotions that are being felt here on the program are that of every Indian fan. And I think that's why this calling for so much of anger and speculation on what's going wrong. Why can't we fix this? But clearly we can't fix it here in the studio. We're only hoping that BCCI are listening in. And the next
There
one
should be a
turns out to be
BCCI report team, and Nikhil and I should be part of that panel.